This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf that is available in print in 14 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online at leafmagazines.com. My name's Mike, last name's Ricker, your host of Leaf Life, and my co-host and partner Wes Abbey sitting right here, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course there's AJOG.
Hola, aloha OG.
And Mary J. White.
Baked with love.
Welcome to the second half of this Leaf Life show called Mushrooms. In just a moment, we'll get into the modern market and we'll spin AJ's wheel to see what products Nathan Webb, who's the lab director for DABSTER Concentrates Company in Washington State and also a mycology expert, this show's Greg the Guinea Pig, is going to be trying next. But first, it's time for Who Does That?
Really? You gotta be kidding.
No way.
Seriously?
Utterly perplexing.
Who does that?
Mary J. White.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me that this one's about me.
It's kind of close.
The Weirded Ricker.
It's a little bit about, well, it's about your people.
Hey.
From the land of your birth.
Floridians.
I'm afraid so.
I wasn't born in Florida.
Oh, good. Because, well, let me tell you about Noah Osborne, okay?
Just grew up there.
Noah was, hanging around down there in Florida with his friend, who they don't name, okay? Their friend is chugging the beers. They're having fun. They're getting all fucked up. They see an alligator. They're like, oh, look at that fucking alligator.
Look at that gator.
Let's get the gator drunk.
Let's get that gator drunk.
Okay. So they're nagging the reptile. They're
called
feeding it
infusing
beer.
Infusing the gator.
Yeah. So they're infusing this poor alligator, and then, oh my God, all of a sudden, it bites the drunk guy.
Oh, God damn it, baby.
No, it was shocking. So, okay, so the drunk guys, they get out of there, but they recorded the whole episode, of course. And what do? They put it on the internet. So then they're back home a couple days later. Everything's cool. All of a sudden, it's the cops because you're not supposed to.
Holy shit, they're at the door. Run out the back.
You're not supposed to get alligators drunk.
No.
Anyway, so they got in big trouble and they've been arrested.
Or ride their back.
That's right. Just don't do any of that shit.
Tail.
No, leave them alone.
I gotta do. I want to do a game called. Guess what it's gonna be called, Mary?
What?
Hey man, watch this.
Oh God, that's a great idea.
Or famous last words.
Oh,
Hey
Lord.
man,
Let's do it.
let's have some gator tail. Oh God.
Anyway, they're in
Screw
jail.
up with that shit. Thank you very much, Mary J.
welcome,
White. All right,
gracious.
AJ, spin that wheel.
Gracious.
Let's see what Nathan's gonna be hitting next. Hey man, watch this.
We got a Pineapple Express coming your way, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan's going to get all woke up.
Sativa.
That was a movie, by the way.
Again by Litto and live resin, 1,000 milligram.
Go for
vape
it.
Is your
pen.
live resin card?
Party
Yes,
time.
they are.
Yes.
And there it goes. Hey Litto, what's up? Let's get Litto.
Oh, is that what the name means?
I think so.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Lido.
Yeah,
not?
you like that one?
Yeah,
Right
absolutely.
on. Sativa,
I'm
baby.
a sativa guy for sure.
Me too.
Big cloud.
Big
Huge
cloud.
cloud.
Yeah, that's why you love it. 1,000 milligrams. Holy shnikey.
And a Pineapple Express is actually a weather term too, right?
Yes, it's a
Yes.
warm thing that
Like a warm
comes
front?
from the place.
Well, it's a warm river. It's a
It's an
atmospheric,
atmospheric
river.
Yeah. Look.
So it's high, here in Washington,
Yeah,
about once a year, maybe twice a year, one of those atmospheric rivers will come rolling in and it'll be cold one day and like 30 degrees warmer the next day. And, as a snow sport enthusiast, you've got all this beautiful powder from all the cold weather. You're like, you got to get it while you can because the Pineapple Express is coming and it'll rain and it'll cover everything with water and then it'll freeze overnight. And then you got a big mountain full of ice.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it's something to pay attention to.
That's right.
The strain Pineapple Express. Thank you, Seth Rogen and James Franco for the movie. But it's been a strain for forever. That's
Long time.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
landrace strain, is it? it almost? Maybe.
Not quite a landrace, but it is like right at the roots of the origination of, sativa starting to be interbred and cultivated for specific cultivars
Flavors
and whatnot,
terpenes,
flavors and terpene profiles.
Thank you, AJ. All right, so let's talk about the modern market. It's changing. I was just in Whole Foods this morning picking up a smoothie on the way here. And right there at the checkout counter, there's a bag of mushrooms for sleeping.
Yeah. For
sleep.
Yeah, nootropics, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the brand was, but I'm like, this is a new era now. And it is. The modern market is new. It's not a farmer's market anymore where you walk, on Sunday and go buy your lettuce and your cabbage and, maybe a bag of weed. Now you can get it at Whole Foods. And I'm talking about functional mushrooms, of course, but maybe that is the conduit for psilocybin into the pharmaceutical era. If we get used to the name mushrooms being around, and hey, AJ's wearing a mushroom outfit right now. Mushrooms are all the rage, hats, clothes, and everything. They're working their way into this contemporary market and becoming commonplace.
Yep, a lot like cannabis did, and it's becoming more and more trendy. From my point of view, the new market is going to be a lot about mushroom extracts. It's kind of a weird thing people have been doing, just chewing on dried mushrooms.
Oh, God. We used to pick them right off the cow poo.
Yeah, the cow poop and just
eat them right there and trip, and then it just traipes through the woods.
The true primal way.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's become normalized. But just like cannabis edibles, people don't really want that flavor in their edible.
No, it's disgusting.
That's a good point.
So there's a lot of crossovers there. Most of the things that you find on the edible shelves today are going to be infused with psilocybin in the future. You can do certain types of extracts that are mushrooms are a little bit different. They're kind of the opposite of cannabis in some ways, and kind of the same. As far as cannabis, when you do like extracts on cannabis, since it's an oily substance, you do non-polar extractions, and mushrooms are the opposite. It's a polar extraction. So a lot of people nowadays are doing a dual extraction with solvent and water, which provides a polar extraction and a non-polar extraction at the same time.
Now, what kind of solvent do you use with a mushroom?
Well, a lot of people use ethanol. I've used ethanol. Methanol is another one that people are often using.
Okay. So like that real high potency booze.
Yeah, and
Everclear.
Sure. And but all that can be removed in the process. So there's none of that. Use that to extract what you want.
Yeah.
But that doesn't end up in your final product.
Just like with an RSO or a FICO.
Okay. Yeah.
It should be done with an ethanol.
And you said polarized, but can you explain to our listeners like what you're referring to when you say that?
Yeah. So pretty much anything that you're going to dissolve with a liquid, it's either going to be a polar extraction or it's going to be a non-polar extraction. We run light hydrocarbon extractions in my lab at DABSTER Labs. And when you're running with cannabis, you use a non-polar solvent like butane or propane.
What's the polar? Is it the North Pole and the South Pole?
Well, some molecules are polar.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, I got you. Yeah.
And some aren't. So you use different types but a really like a non-polar extraction would be like what you're doing with butane and propane with BHO, live resin. And then if you're going to dissolve a cube of sugar into water, that's a polar extraction.
Okay.
What makes it that?
Well, I mean, there's water it's basically because some things are water soluble and some things are not.
Yes.
Cannabis is not water soluble.
Right.
So you can wash it with water all day long and it's not going to go dissolve into the water.
Right.
So if
it dissolves, it's polar. If it doesn't, it's non-polar.
Well,
there's some angry scientists listeners who are like screaming into the radio. It's okay. We don't have to get that technical. The point is that it's different than cannabis. And so because of that, you can't just take existing cannabis extraction technology or at least methodology and use it for psilocybin.
Exactly.
You've got to modify it.
And there's some fun things you can do with mushrooms that are much harder to do with cannabis. Like, for instance, if you want to make a drink. Mushrooms, they want to be water soluble. It's much easier to make a drink like that. If you want to make a drink out of cannabis, since it's an oil, you have to do nano encapsulations and
emulsifications,
right? Yeah.
And it's harder.
Yep.
I think with the mushrooms too, it's about what are people looking for as well. With cannabis, like we're trying to replace alcohol, so that's why we have drinks, or replace the drinking experience of alcohol or soda. With mushrooms, I think people aren't quite there where it's like, oh, I'm going to drink a mushroom soda, but they definitely want a capsule or an extract or a gummy,
or
not to dab, but to consume in a method that feels a little bit more safe. I think that for me has been the big difference. Is I don't like eating whole fruited bodies, which is what we call a mushroom cap, because you don't know what's in it. It's like eating an old school edible.
Yeah,
it's someone made in their kitchen. You just don't know how fucked you're going to be, and if you're sensitive, you're probably fucked.
Right. Yeah.
So having these dosed and regulated products, which generally start with an extract, but can be done with just, kind of homogenizing and keeping track of how much, mushroom is in a chocolate or in a gummy. We now have more consistency for people. And that's what is also defining the marketplace. Is weed has gone from a inconsistent experience to a consistent experience throughout all the technological development and the science that's brought us to regulated dosages and hitting a pen and getting the same experience each time.
Yes.
Mushrooms jumped ahead 15, 20 years because of that technological jump in cannabis. So now we have a lot of companies that have learned how to do it with weed, are like, okay, we'll figure it out on mushrooms. And then they have the packaging, they have the dosing, they have all these other parts down.
And it's much easier to do that with an extract, when as opposed to fruiting bodies, to tell exactly what you're getting. And there's new testing facilities and places like that you can send these to also.
Yeah, we wrote about Rose City Labs in Portland. They were the first ones down there to test weed, actually, way back in the day, and then the first ones to test mushrooms as well.
Cool.
Psilocin is the chemical that's kind of the THC of mushrooms, but there are inconsistencies with that in that you can have a mushroom with a high amount of psilocin and a mushroom with a low amount of psilocin and get a pretty similar effect from eating similar amounts.
So like the way that the cannabis grows THCA, which is not bioavailable, you can you heat it up when you smoke it or you vaporize it to make it convert to THC. It's kind of the same thing with psilocybin. Like it grows as psilocybin, it converts to psilocin so that your body can consume it. So it's bioavailable. Just kind of like you can eat a THCA diamond and it won't do anything. But if you
smoke
warm it
that
up
thing.
You warm it up a little bit.
It converts. It loses the acid. It burns it off, and therefore it's just THC.
Yep, and that's kind of the same thing a lot of people are doing with psilocybin, because I don't know if you've heard of, there's a lot of new ways to consume, like lemon dropping. Like you can...
Somebody told me
so
about
what
that.
you're doing when you're adding lemon to the mushrooms before you consume it is you're converting it to psilocin from psilocybin right there in the cup, which is what would normally happen with your stomach acids in your stomach.
Yeah, it just
which
speeds
takes
it up.
time, and that's why you get the kind of roller coaster effect from
Butterflies.
eating mushrooms.
Yeah.
Well, plus some people get nauseated from the fruiting bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Not
love
a
that.
pleasant.
No, it's ew.
Wes and I did it in Denver. We did a lemon tech process and drank the mushroom drink. And within 20 minutes, we were on those scooters tripping around town, checking out murals around downtown Denver. It was a great night. Anyways, hey, Nate, now it's time for you to play Legalize It.
Oh.
Okay, let's do it.
Nate. All right.
From the Who's the Dipshit Who Came Up With This Law file, you gotta wonder how some of these laws were even passed. This is Legalize It.
That was a fun discussion, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
a lot of information there that I learned from Nathan. So thank you very much for bringing that acumen here to the Leaf Life podcast. Very enjoyable show, man. And, mushrooms are all the rage these days, and we need to know more about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So it is true. This is called Legalize It. Some states are still partying like it's 1899. So here we go. These are crazy laws, brother. Number one. In this East Coast state, where we at The Leaf threw our very first Leaf Bowl in 2024, not only is it illegal to wash or scrub sinks, no matter how dirty they get, but it is also illegal to take a lion to the movies.
What?
Wow.
You heard right, Mary.
You can't scrub your fucking sink?
And you can't take a line to the movies. God damn it,
Well,
Mary.
that's just not
Don't even
right.
Stop trying.
It's not right.
It's not right. Yeah. What state is that, bro? We threw a leaf bowl there in 2024, the very first one.
Yeah, come on.
Nah, he doesn't know.
I gotta say Washington.
DC is not a state. That's a district, but you're wrong. It's very close. It's Maryland, right next door.
Yeah, I should have known that.
All right. Number 2. Yeah, check out Maryland Leaf. Go to leafmagazines.com. Number 2. In this northernmost state, not only is it unlawful to tickle a woman's chin with a feather duster in the city of Portland, but it is also illegal to step out of an airplane in flight.
Oh.
Yep. Don't want to do that, Mary. That's
No, I don't.
illegal. You'll break the law.
Yeah, and be dead.
And get a ticket.
And be dead.
And get cited.
So dead.
Might go to jail.
But you'd be dead.
In a casket.
So dead.
Thank you, Mary. Northernmost state. Portland.
Yeah. Maine, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, in Portland, you got me thinking Oregon for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's supposed to be right, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
Animal is over there.
right,
He
that's
cut his
right.
hair. He doesn't look like animal anymore. All right. That was the right answer, by the way. Technical difficulty. Hey, shit happens, bro. We're stoners. All right, number 3. In this state known for grass that is blue, not only is it illegal to marry the same man more than 3 times, but Mary, you better not live there.
Okay.
But every citizen is required to take a shower at least once a year, whether they need it or not.
Oh, my God.
Bluegrass. Tennessee.
That is Kentucky, brother.
Kentucky, okay.
Yeah. Where you been, man?
Not in the Midwest.
That's okay.
It should be noted that this does not apply to the bearded Lorax, as he is known to discover hidden waterfalls under which he basks as the glorious water flows over the tendrils of chin hair while cooling the light, slightly burnt red scalp that is tempered by the intense summer sun as he frolics along the lilies and daisies, exploring the bliss of whispering willows while conjuring sentimental, poetic cadences.
So nice.
Oh, yeah.
Such a visual.
Yeah, that's where the bearded Lorax takes his showers, man.
Let's go.
Hey, Nathan, where can we find you on social media, brother?
I'm personally at the Dabbing Ape.
The Dabbing Ape. What?
Yeah, at the Dabbing Ape
Should have told us
2.0.
that earlier. We had a wrestling match between you and the bearded Lorax.
Yes.
Gonna wrestle over some rosin.
The Dabbing Ape.
Let's do it.
Full of rosin.
And Dabster?
Yeah, Dabster Premium Extractions at Instagram.
Cool, brother. Thank you so much for being on the Leaf Live podcast.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, Wes, next week, incredible parties.
Oh, boy.
I like to party.
I know you do.
We
like to party?
I like to party.
We like to
Bring
party.
it on.
We like to party. Dun, 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 dun. You know that one, right, Mary? Sing it, sing it.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
It's not in my
Mary.
head. I'm sorry.
Download this and all Leaf Life episodes at leafmagazines.com. And please subscribe on YouTube at Leaf Life Podcast V2. Now get ready for another episode of Stony Baloney, which is also available at leafmagazines.com. And please be kind to animals and apes.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies. Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Amsterdam Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer. Now, please stay tuned for this week's edition of Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Let's talk about it. Who doesn't love tacos? I mean, this juggernaut of Mexican culture easily rivals the hamburger when competing for most delectable item in the food pyramid. And whether you like your fillings grilled, deep fried, or sauteed, there is only herding the ingredients into a tortilla and wrapping that baby up to convert your hand into a flavor shovel of extreme awesomeness. Think about it. Tuesday would be Blues Day if not for the amazing taco. And not just because the two are alphabetically compatible, but because tacos are so damn cheerful, they turn an ordinary meal into a downright fiesta. And with the deliciousness well in hand, All you need is a bottle of tequila to quickly transform a Monday weekday into a Saturday-type day. So vámonos on those happy hour margaritas, amigo, because we're going to need some tang to punctuate the party. Tacos aren't just yummy for the tummy, they give the meal personality. It's the rare food item that can relocate your dinner table to a bar stool smack dab in the middle of a piñata-filled cantina. Suddenly, you're stoned on some pressed brickweed, surrounded by a handful of gleeful hombres with frilly tuxedos and giant sombreros, strumming guitars, squeezing accordions, and singing like angels, and you'll swear you've been transported somewhere south of the border. Every country has their own version of a taco, right? Poland has the pierogi, Italy has the pizza, and Israel has the falafel. And the United States has the taco pizza. Back to the food pyramid. I wonder if that originated in Tenochtitlan. That's where they used to conduct human sacrifices. Those were some evil bastards. But then, they didn't have Cinco de Drinko.
Stony baloney. Some of the wardrobe, including Rick or Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.